Getting ready to for a big road test, and obviously they're a really talented team. You start off talking about their team, talking about the inside play of Bassey, number 23 at the 5 spot, and then their power forward 22 Williams, and obviously number 11 Hollingsworth at the points, a confident scoring guy, and number 5 at the off guard's a really good scorer that you can't give airspace to as a transfer, and then Savage at the small forward, number 2, and Anderson's played really well, number 4 off the bench for him. So it's kind of what we're looking at from a roster standpoint of Western Kentucky.
Yeah, I've seen you watch film of Arkansas and Western last year, and Bassey had like 21 points, 9 rebounds, 5 blocks, and that was against Daniel Gafford, another league big man. You guys don't really have anybody like Daniel. What's the, I guess, without giving away any secrets, what's the game plan for trying to handle Bassey, and how big a challenge? It seems like by far the best big guy you guys have faced so far.
Yeah, obviously, the big kid at Georgia Tech's having a really good year so far, and but Bassey, creates a lot of problems inside because of his size, and he runs the floor really well, and Coach Stansbury does a great job of getting the ball to him. We've got a couple days we're able to work on some things like post traps that we really haven't done much of this year. They're probably going to try to throw the ball into both Bassey, 23, and 22 Williams, both those guys, and so we've got to be prepared for that. They won't run a 1-3-1 after timeouts, so we got to continually alert our guys to their 1-3-1 after timeouts, and we did get some good looks at a 1-3-1 because Georgia Tech played it at times, so we've added 3 different offensive sets against the 1-3-1 that'll hopefully give us, our guys understand where the windows are in that thing, and they're a great shot blocking team too. So I think they're 40th in the country in shots blocked with 3 guys primaries or shot blockers, like you mentioned. Bassey having 5 last year, so there's some things offensively that you've got to do against shot blockers that I thought we did a really good job. Georgia Tech. Such a good shot blocking team as well. So, but yeah, he's a great player, and obviously had a big game against a team that's a little bit bigger than we are right now in last year's Arkansas team, and we've got to try to focus on him and also know that they got some surrounding pieces that are a problem as well.
After the Georgia Tech, or before Georgia Tech, players talked a lot about last year's game. Has there been similar since Western Kentucky beat them here last year?
Yeah, I think that they understand that these are 2 games that we lost in our own building, and we know that they're going to have a great crowd there. But it's every year's new, and every game's got its own different theme and different identity, and I don't think you can take too much from that game film. We're playing a little bit different style, and our guys know the games we've won and the games we lost last year, but I think it just takes on a whole different identity once the ball gets tipped up.
Getting back on the road again, how do you think the guys handled their first trip at Georgia Tech, and how do you think that'll benefit them this weekend?
Yeah, I thought we played, we had some really good moments against Tech, and I thought that, there were some moments where we sputtered a little bit on offense or gave up a couple back-to-back baskets defensively, but it's never easy playing an ACC team on the road, and certainly it's not going to be easy going to Western Kentucky. Every road game is going to be hard and be challenging, and again, they came in and got us last year, and they've added a grad transfer who starts for them at that off guard spot, and it's an area that they wanted to improve on, which was their perimeter shooting, and obviously, they've added some shooting that makes it even more complicated with their post-up guys.
Yeah, I guess Yeah, Banks, yeah, you're right. He obviously had a good game this year. I think he had 20. How would you compare Banks and Bassie as big men? And Bassie, I guess went to the combine last year, didn't like, I think he was maybe a late second round projection. Just obviously as an NBA guy yourself, how do you think he translates to the NBA? What kind of NBA prospect is he, I guess, is what I'm asking you.
Yeah, I mean, I think, both those guys are NBA prospects because they both, have great size and they can run the floor and they have good hands. And, I think it's easier to evaluate a guy when you've seen him live, on film. I mean, both players look really good on film. And so, I can't really give too much of a projection if I haven't seen, Bassie live from what my opinion would be. But he's a great player. He's got a huge upside. He's still a young player. He's going to continue to grow and get better. But at the college level, it's a big time challenge. And the other guy, like Williams, they're going to try to post him up too. So both those guys inside are, Williams is physical at the forward spot as well.
I guess Adrio and Reggie and maybe even Ethan. How could Ethan maybe help you against these big guys the way he played? And just how do you feel about your interior, defense, how those guys have played so far?
Yeah, obviously the experience that Adrio has because he's, he's a 4-year college player. He understands our schemes and I think Reggie too. Even though Reggie missed those first 3 games, I think he's playing catch up on exactly how we want to play post defense and so forth. But both those guys are really good. And then you got a decision after those two, which we had the same decision at Georgia Tech. Do we want to really play small and make them kind of chase us a little bit, or do we want to try to, because we put Banks in some situations where they had to make a decision whether they wanted to keep him out there or not. And sometimes there's a trade-off of scoring around the rim or a team trying to defend threes. And it's been no secret that we've played 4 guards a lot of times. And so we'll just have to see how the flow of the game is and so forth and see who's playing well. And I'm sure they're going to do the same thing from their end.
Coach, how's Mason Jones feeling? Is he closer to 100%? I know he said he was 70% after the game the other day, and then you guys are 8 games in. The rest of the season gets a lot tougher. What do you feel like has been better than you've hoped for that'll help you guys through the rest of the season, and then what are you still kind of worried about?
Yeah, I think, Nikki, the same stuff that, I'm a broken record. It's we got to rebound better. We got to take care of the ball better. I think one of the areas that we've been really pleased with is obviously how we've defended. Surprisingly, I've been really happy with how we've defended the post. I think a lot of teams will look at our roster and they try to throw it in there, and we end up getting deflections and steals and we go the other way. And so that's actually been one of our positives this year is getting deflections and getting our hands on balls, and obviously defending the 3-point, because we know that people try to go inside, and then if you really work on your inside defense, then you usually give up 3 balls. And for the most part, we've done a pretty good job of defending the 3, and I think that from a post defensive standpoint, we've done an incredible job of kind of scrapping around in there and trying to get our hands on balls. What was the other question?
Mason.
Oh, I don't know what Mason told you. He was 100% last game on offense, and he told me, even though he could shoot, he told me that it hurt his arm to play defense, put his hand in the eyeballs. So hopefully he's at 100% defensively.
As far as Sills hitting those last couple of threes, you feel that's a good chance he can carry that over with some confidence?
Yeah, again, I think every game's just different. If you go play at the park and you make a layup or you hit a 3, then your game kind of opens, your confidence opens. It's the same thing in a college game. It's the same thing in an NBA game. A guy, misses 2 or 3. Does he keep shooting? Obviously, Desi's proven that he's going to keep shooting. And, you know, I mean, sometimes with our team, it's like you just keep shooting until you get hot, and you know, we got to mix in dribble drives and things like that, like I think we've done. But we want Desi to keep shooting, and I do think that the last game probably really helped his confidence for sure.